Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 17 of Framing the Force here on the Aspect Network. I'm one of your hosts, Alex Batts, and joining me to discuss a galaxy far, far away is Robby Weidemann. Robby, how are you doing?
I'm doing good today. I'm a little tired, but I'm ready to get into it this week. We're catching up on all of the latest Star Wars news, starting off with the announcement that Star Wars Visions has officially been renewed for Season 3, coming in 2025. The third season returns to Japanese studios with 9 new episodes and 4 returning studios, including those behind The Duel, The Village Bride, The Ninth Jedi, The Elder, and The Twins from Volume 1. Alex, are you excited for the return of Star Wars Visions? When do you think it'll drop? And do you think any of the previous episodes will get continuations in Volume 3?
Yeah, I'm pumped about this. To answer the first question, I think that
Hell yeah.
Visions is like by far, aside from The Last Jedi, in my opinion, the best thing that Disney era Star Wars has put out. Also excluding the Clone Wars continuation, but like
Mm-hmm.
if that counts, because I mean, that started like way before
I'll give
Disney,
him.
anyways.
I'll give him Season 7. That thing was
Okay,
kind of shelved by then.
that will always like hold the special place in my heart just because of Siege, which I've talked about. But yeah, Visions I think is the real like gold mine that they've like the best animated or live action project that they've put out. So yeah, I'm incredibly pumped for this. I don't know. I think on the whole, I probably enjoy season 1 of Visions more than season 2. I think both were great though. It's super exciting though that we're returning to the Japanese studios with 9 new episodes. And 4 of the returning studios is also exciting. All the episodes that you mentioned are bangers. I think that of the ones that will get a continuation, I mean, I feel like you can make the case that possibly all of the ones that are the returning studios will be like continuations. I think specifically, though, like besides that, the Duel, the Ninth Jedi are the ones that really like stick out the most to me as like, I know those were big fan favorites and people were like, oh, I want more for this. The Duel, especially, like we got the book.
We got the book. We have a one-off comic too of it.
Yeah, like I feel like that is for sure going to get a continuation.
I
feel like
sure hope so.
they would be really dumb not to. It's like if
I'd
you,
be shocked if they. I wouldn't be shocked if they didn't, and I wouldn't be shocked if they did. Like I wouldn't be surprised either way. Maybe they get 2 episodes. Who knows? But
Mhm.
no, I think they have a pretty much a lob here with a part 2 if they wanted to.
Yeah, I feel like most people that you ask like what their favorite episode from season 1 would be, like I feel like 8 or 9 out of 10 people are going to say the Duel. Like,
I'm one of those.
yeah, right. And so like either that one or I know the Ninth Jedi is also one that a lot of people point
Mhm.
out as like that big one as well. So I think that those getting continuations would make sense and also be really exciting. Like they're fantastic episodes, and I mean all the studios involved are great. So I think that's super super exciting. As for when this drops, I have to assume, like, I don't know how long they've been working on it. They didn't like discuss that. But I would venture to say in the later half of 2025. I mean, it'd be cool if we could get it for like a May the 4th release.
We
That
got
would be,
what? So we got season 2 for May 4th, and I think season 1 was like mid to end of September of like 2022 or whatever year it came out.
yeah, my first inkling was like a September release, I feel like, because I think
Yeah.
that they kind of like that date or that area for stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's my first inkling just on the fact that
Like
again, it
late
just depends on
August.
how far into it they are. Like, I don't know how long, they've
I
been
feel
working on
like
it.
they announced season 2 when I don't remember exactly, but I think
Mhm.
they announced it pretty like close to when it was going to release because I don't know what month it was announced in, but I know they announced it for May. I
Mhm.
think they did. I think they announced it for May 4th. So, but I don't think there was like a lot of time before it, and I think it was more or less kind of the similar time period we're in, like month wise
Like, yeah,
for that it
like
got announced. So I would not
6 or
be.
so months out, 6
Yeah,
or
I wouldn't
7.
be shocked if we got it for May 4th.
I mean, dude, I would love that. I'd be hyped for a May the 4th release. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
give me
I
that.
mean,
Give me
I love May the 4th releases. I just hate when there's like multiple.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
like
true.
that's like yeah, I mean I get it and I don't mind it, but it's like damn, now I gotta commit so much time. I wanna have a little bit of my Star Wars spaced out, but it
Yeah,
is what it is.
I do like that they do the batch releases for these though, like for
Yeah.
Visions and for like for their animated stuff. I guess not all of it because Bad Batch, is weekly, but
No,
like
I
the
think it's
like
just Visions.
Vision Tales was also though
Oh yeah,
like
Visions, Tales, and I guess Lego, but Lego's more of a movies or
yeah,
little
I still haven't even
short.
watched those.
They're good, man.
Um, but I do like the Visions one that end up getting the batch release because they're shorter episodes anyways. Like
Mhm.
they're not even all like
They're
20,
between like 10 and
25.
20 minutes usually.
Yeah,
Sometimes
so like
you get like 125 or if you're lucky.
yeah, so those are definitely easy to like just spend a couple hours and like get through all of them.
Mhm.
So yeah, I'm super hyped for that. I think that it's going to be more of that good stuff. Because like yeah, I mean these studios are incredible, and I think these stories have been awesome. It'd be cool to see. I don't know how much it would make sense, and I don't even know how much I necessarily want it. But like the continuation of the twins would also be
That would be
pretty dope.
interesting.
I don't know how exactly you do it, but like that was definitely one of
How
my
did that one
favorite.
even end? I don't even remember.
Pretty sure one of them dies
Did
actually.
one
So
of them
like,
die? Yeah.
or like, there's a huge explosion. I think is how that one ends. So
Yeah,
like, no,
it was a crazy ending for sure.
so like you could, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see.
No,
Um,
I'm excited. I do want to see what I think it's I think it's called Kamikaze Douga whatever. Kamikaze is the first. I
yeah,
think
yeah.
I don't know if it's a studio. I actually think it's a person who heads a studio, but don't quote me on
Mm,
that one. But they're the ones that did the duel, and I am really curious to see, like how we as we talked on earlier, if it's going to get a part two or not. Because I'm interested because I think they told a great story with the duel, but I want to I wouldn't mind I yes I think I want a dual continuation uh,
hmm
as my biggest want. I won't be sad though because I'm okay with letting something because these are meant to be anthologies.
Right. Yeah, yeah.
So I don't mind if we get something new because I think like the duel is a very distinct kind of art style. Like it's that black and white, little like
That like
some
textured.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
very distinct, and I feel like I want to see. And it's not a bad art style at all. I absolutely love it. It's one of the main reasons I love the duel the most. But I am
hmm
curious to see what they would do, like if they would do a different art style and how and what it would look like
Yeah.
with a new if they told a new story. So they're my number one like circle is the Kamikaze Studio.
hmm
Um, but yeah, no, dude, I'm excited. I'm glad Trigger's back. I feel like if they were bringing back Japanese specific studios, I feel like Trigger was going to be included from the get go. I mean,
Oh yeah.
they had the Elder and the Twins in season one, and those are both like towards everyone's top.
I feel like also if you're looking at like Japanese studios, like even people that aren't into anime and like know who Trigger is, like
I don't know.
that's
I'm kind of into anime, and I don't even know who. Like
really
I'm a
Trigger
baby
also
with
did
anime.
Trigger did Cyberpunk Edge Runners, if I'm remembering correctly, as
Oh,
well,
okay.
which is like what I know.
I
I mean,
have to
obviously,
watch
I
that.
know them from the Visions episodes, but like more
Right.
so the
That's what I know all of these studios from. I'm not even gonna
yeah.
bullshit it.
But yeah, they're the one. I'm like 99.9% sure they're the ones behind Edge Runners. Which yeah, you should watch that.
Very interesting. Yeah, no, I do want
Fantastic.
to. I played
um,
10 hours on the game, but it's okay.
yeah, it's a good game.
I got it on launch, and I haven't picked it up
Well, I
since.
mean, it
But
was
I
broken
know
at
it's been
launch.
changed since.
Yeah. But no, yeah. So Trigger, I think, is one that like a lot of people who are not even like very familiar with a lot of the studios are like, oh, like have at least heard or like seen stuff from them, even like outside of Visions.
hmm
They're very prolific in the space. So yeah, them coming back, I think definitely like makes sense. It's also this makes me wonder if they'll do like we'll get season 3 as like the Japanese studios
Are they gonna
returning,
go back to
and then
European or
like yeah,
just
season
worldwide,
4.
whatever you want to call it?
Yeah, and then season 4 if they do like pending it getting picked up for season 4, which it should.
No,
um
it should just keep going. There's
yeah, like
endless stories you could tell with this.
where if they just then are like, okay, now we're doing like the worldwide studios again with like the next season, they just like
No,
keep going
yeah,
back and forth between those, which
I
I'd be
am
hyped for.
I am glad they went back to the Japanese studios because I
hmm
feel like season one got a much bigger reception and a better
hmm
one than season two did. Not saying season two is bad by any means. It was just
yeah, it definitely
everyone
got
were
talked about less, I
yeah,
feel.
for sure. Like it definitely was kind of passed over quicker, I guess. Like it
hmm
kind of fell out
what
of the
else
news loop.
did something else was something else dropping at the same
I
time
think Bad
as
Batch. I'm not even gonna lie. I don't remember, but I think may have been a
it might
Bad
have either
Batch or
been that or
something
like
or a
Mando
Tales.
season 3
No, because
was.
season two came out in on May 4th.
Mm. So it's probably Tails.
I think it may have been Tails that came with it, but I'm not. That was because season two was last. No, it wasn't this past.
It
It
was
was
like
2023,
no,
right? Yeah, 2023.
no. Was it season 2 of it? There was no way it was that recent.
Yeah, 100%.
Was it
Season one
really?
was recent.
Season 1 was like 3 years ago, right?
No,
Three.
I think it was 2022.
Man, time is not real.
I don't know. Anyway, I'm just making up numbers now. If we had a fact checker, I would just not be here at this point. Like,
Yeah, I don't know.
but it was very recent.
I feel like something else was airing at the same time though, and that was part of it. Which
Yeah,
like I don't
no,
know why they
that's
do
why I
that.
don't like the multiple May 4th drops, because something did drop with it.
Yeah, and like that's
So
just not a smart move. I don't get that. Like you're stifling one of the other, like one or the other. You know, like one's
mhm.
gonna take over
Yeah, and
the
like
majority of
it
the.
hurts your numbers. I mean, I would think so.
Imagine, yeah, not like they've released those
Yeah, not like
most
they
of the time,
released them, unless you're the acolyte and you're trying to justify a cancellation.
which, um, no, yeah, I mean, there had to be something else that was dropping at the time. But yeah, I think the return to the Japanese studios definitely makes sense and will be exciting
Yeah,
to see.
I'm really excited about them coming back, and I like that they're mixing it up. It's some returners, some like
And
fan
some
favorite
new.
studios and new studios. They're giving other studios an opportunity, and which is why I don't mind them alternating like odd seasons Japanese, even seasons the world,
Wherever, yeah.
because they've now shown with a season 3 coming that they are willing to cycle studios, but also keep some like ones that we like. So
Yeah.
like, I don't know. I think, like I said, this show, there's no reason for it to just not keep going. You have unlimited studios, basically. Unlimited,
Unlimited
because
power.
but
Sorry.
no, I really appreciate that. But no, you have a ton, like you have handpicking across the globe of studios that want to create for you, because you are Star Wars, you are Lucasfilm, you are legendary in the field of storytelling and film and television. um like these they will this is an opportunity of a lifetime for any and all of these studios, so they will constantly do it, and they're in a sandbox. As I always say with Visions, it's a sandbox. You know, you can do whatever you want. There's no rules to break, really. I mean, there's just kind of like the Star Wars skin is slapped on your production, but that's about it. You can kind of bend what you want to around that. And between the fact that it's a sandbox for anything you want to do in the Star Wars, I guess, universe, for a lack of better,
Yeah.
the Star Wars
Like,
umbrella. I don't know.
mhm.
Um, between that open sandbox and the fact that there are hundreds and probably thousands of studios across the globe that would want to jump at the opportunity to work on a Star Wars project. I mean, they've got, and they don't even have to come up with the story like for these studios to make. The studios do that too. Like, there's no
Yeah.
reason to just not keep this going. I mean, it's just, and everyone loves it. I mean, you've won awards with it. Like, you've been nominated for a bunch more. Like, there's no
Yeah.
reason. It's just it's a no-brainer, and it's excellent content, because it's fresh, and these people get to express what Star Wars is to them, and they're all 15-minute love letters, and you could feel the passion in each episode. And I you know, why would you stop that? So just keep rolling. I'm glad season 3 is coming, and I want to see 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And like, just keep going.
Yeah. No, agreed. Also, we were totally wrong. I Googled it.
Oh, nice.
So one, Vision season 2 did come out May of last year, which is insane. I feel like it
Okay, I
was
got one on me.
feel like it was longer than that. Nothing else released on May the 4th though.
Oh,
The Bad Batch season 2 was wrapped by March 29th was the last episode of
was it
season
the year
2.
before that Bad Batch dropped on May the 4th? That might be it.
Yeah, that might be it. And then Mandalorian season 3 was also done before. Like it started in
Yeah.
March and wrapped in April. So like
Huh.
there just wasn't anything else.
Interesting. I don't know
Yeah,
why I thought there was.
I swore that there was, but maybe
All
it's
right,
because
well,
we got multiple like May the 4th releases this year.
could be. I don't know. They all starting to
Which
blend
did
together
that
at this
even have?
point.
I don't know, man. I don't even know if that
Was I
happened.
right on Vision season 1? Was that 2022?
That's I'll Google that.
We got our live fact checking. I love it.
Yeah. Young Jedi Adventures also came out on May the 4th, 2023.
Oh, well, that's gonna take my girlfriend's attention and
uh,
anyone who loves nubs.
so yeah, the first season of Star Wars Visions was 2021.
2021. Damn, I was wrong on that one. Okay. So they're doing
Yeah.
2 years between them, it looks like.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah.
because 2021,
Yeah. 21,
2023,
23, and then
2025. Yeah.
25. Yeah.
So I like it. I like a nice
So
spread.
season 4, 2027. God,
We're
that doesn't feel real.
we're yeah, geez, wow. Please. All right. Well, I would love a season 4, but I don't want to think about that year.
Yeah, that's fine. We need to get to what's it, 2028 ASAP, but it's fine. Yeah, I don't know. Do you have any final thoughts on Visions before
No,
we
I'm just
move forward?
excited, man, and I hope they keep it going, man. This is definitely some of the brightest Star Wars news we've gotten in a long time, and at least in my opinion, this was been keeping me going. And
Yeah.
this is my new next level, next thing I'm like really hyped for. Maybe Andor season 2, but
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Dude,
I am really excited for
can't
Vision
wait for
season
that.
3 with all Japanese studios returning. It's going to be awesome.
Totally agreed. So we're going to take a quick break, but when we return, we will discuss our thoughts on the announcement that a new Star Wars trilogy is in the works from producer Simon Kinberg. We'll be right back.
Hey, Aspect listener, I'm Kate.
And I'm Alex, enjoying this show here on the Aspect Network.
Then check out Bending the Narrative.
We're your one-stop shop for all things Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Each week, we break down an episode from the series and discuss our favorite moments, with a particular focus on the characters and narrative threads that tie the series together.
In addition to discussing the original series, we're also tackling things from The Legend of Korra to the novels and the comics as well.
Now join us as we travel into the world of Team Avatar and discuss one of the greatest animated series of all time on Bending the Narrative here on the Aspect Network.
Now, back to the show. Welcome back to Framing the Force. Before the break, we discussed the recently announced Season 3 of Star Wars Visions. Now we want to discuss the other big news that dropped after our last episode, which is X-Men producer Simon Kinberg being the new guy to spearhead a new trilogy of Star Wars films. He will also be penning them. The main thing is he's like writing the trilogy. So some reports initially claimed that this would be episodes 10 through 12, but then more recent reports came out have stated that that is not the case and that this would be a standalone trilogy. Even though that is the case, apparently Daisy Ridley's Rey is the focal point of almost all of the Star Wars film projects currently in development, and they're not really communicating with each other, which is interesting. Robby, what are your thoughts on this news, and how do you feel about Rey being the center of Star Wars storytelling on the big screen moving forward?
Oh man, it was some news. I mean, I can't say I don't even remember if I've watched any of those X-Men movies or some or which ones I have watched in that one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I watched like the original ones and then I've seen like the Wolverines, but I don't know if I've seen any of these ones.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, he's a producer on like all of them essentially.
Yeah, I was looking at his IMDb earlier, and I actually did some math. So he had 34 producer credits, and he averaged a 6.76 out of 10 stars. So
Interesting.
wasn't awful. Like I mean, the news came
I'm sure
out.
averages out to that because like they're really good and then really
Four's
bad.
in there.
yeah. Fan four stick.
But they got like Deadpool. Rebels is he did so that is what gives me hope with him. So like I'm not too familiar with a lot of his work. I've seen like the Deadpools. Like I said, I don't think I've seen the X-Men. And I've seen Rebels for sure multiple times. So that was my big like, okay, I got a little bit of a sigh of relief. It's not like they're just picking up some random guy from outside of Star Wars to pen a Star Wars trilogy for the first time. He has worked on Rebels and he was big on Rebels and it was like Rebels was a huge success. It's still, in my opinion, the most like core show to current Star Wars shows that are coming out. Like everything kind of goes back to everyone always says Clone Wars, but I think Rebels kind of has more of it just because of the time periods and the characters and everything.
Yeah.
So I mean, he had a big part in that, and you can't knock that. So yeah. I'm definitely skeptical. I mean, I'm skeptical until I'm seated for anything Lucasfilm at this point. Like you announcing a new trilogy, a new movie to me, it's whatever. It's to me, it's like a fart in the wind. Like I'll believe it when I'm seated at this point. Like I hope it doesn't get shelved. I don't want these things to get shelved. I don't wish for these things to get shelved, whether I want to see the movie that they're planning on or not. But we haven't seen a Star Wars film in 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
I understand taking a break because the saga just ended. That's totally cool. But like in those 5 years, how many films have been announced and
I think
canceled or
there's like,
shelved or just
well,
like
yeah, they're
not
technically
hold,
not.
not
Most of them are
canceled?
like not even canceled. They're
Yeah,
just like
they're just
on.
like
They're in
get some
like
dust.
in pre-production or early
Yeah, in
production or like
development or
yeah, in
whatever. Like
development. Like
Ryan Johnson, we all know is working on Knives Out, and he's going to finish that first. And I do expect to see his trilogy. But
I
again,
hope so.
they
I'm
announced that back
praying
in
against all hope.
2017, 2018, right when The Last Jedi came out.
They announced that before The Last Jedi even came out. That's how confident they were with it.
Was it? Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
it was like
So
a couple weeks or a month before The Last Jedi came out. They announced that he would
wow.
be doing a trilogy. No, it was a month
So
before because it was like November 8th, I'm pretty sure.
I don't even think he's going to be like maybe even penning this until like 10 years after it was announced, because like we still got a Knives Out. That's almost it's done shooting, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It's done.
so we got a Knives Out coming soon, and Lord knows if he's stopping at a trilogy or not. It's Ryan Johnson,
That's what
and
his deal is for
okay, it's
with
for 3.
Netflix. Yeah, and then I'm sure there's an option for more, but given the way they've treated the theatrical side of things,
Mm-hmm.
I don't see them extending that. He already
Cool.
got his
He
bag.
got his
So
bag.
I would
Cool.
not.
Ryan, you made some great films, but get on to something new. My greediness wants some Star Wars.
Same.
Um.
God, him doing
Anyway.
an entire trilogy would go so unbelievably hard.
Oh yeah, and it would piss off
And it
a
would be
lot of
all new
people, but
stuff
it'd be
too, so
really
you don't
funny.
have to worry about him ruining any characters that
Yep.
you're a fan of.
But back to the whole Rey as like the focal point. I really wasn't a fan of the I don't remember the exact wording of the announcement. They're like she is like the core like of the main
Yeah,
star of the franchise
I can pull it up
going
because I
forward.
posted about it.
And
So
I took some issue to that because it's just like saying like, yeah, we don't need any more Darth Vader films or whatever. But like
it says, quote, she is the most valuable cinematic asset, in some ways maybe
yeah.
the only one Star Wars has right now. One
Okay,
source close to the franchise tells THR.
that is such a bold, the most valuable cinematic asset that we have right now.
Well, I mean, what would you argue, like, what's your counter argument?
Well, so here's my thing. You don't need another Vader film or anything. Like, but Vader still exists, Luke still exists, like all those like main, like Ahsoka exists.
Mm-hmm.
Like, granted, she hasn't been on the big screen, which is probably the hindrance to her. But I wouldn't really like. Yeah, she was the main character of your latest trilogy, but just off of the critical and the fan reception, I don't know if you can really put your eggs into that basket so confidently.
I feel like you can, because they still made $3.3 billion off of those films.
Okay, I can't argue that.
Like, critical
But
and fan reception aside, like they made all that money.
I don't think she should be the main focus though. Like you got her film coming out. Supposedly this one from what's his name, Simon, is a Rey trilogy, or has Rey in it or something.
Yeah, somehow, yeah,
or some kind of like appearance in it
might
or
involve
whatever.
her. Yeah,
But like I don't know, like the whole thing with Star Wars is the galaxy is so big, and we have you have all these films in development, but again they're keeping it. And I'm okay with going past the Skywalker timeline, and I'm okay with seeing an older mentor like Rey. But saying she like if you're gonna you can have her as a mentor as like that Ben Kenobi character, and you're not the main character, but like when you say she's the most valuable asset, that means like she's gonna be front and center. And I mean, well, what point does it get oversaturated?
yeah. I mean, like I think that
If
I
anything,
don't
isn't Grogu real quick? Isn't Grogu more valuable, like money wise?
Well, he's not a cinematic asset though. Like he
Yeah, I
hasn't been on the
guess
big screen.
so. Like it's
like
just weird. Go ahead.
I
Sorry.
think that the idea that they're like having multiple projects that want to use them, like want to use her, and none of those people involved in those projects are communicating with each other is just beyond idiotic. That doesn't make any
Yeah.
sense to me. That's not how you run a cohesive like storytelling
I mean,
unit
and not
and
to say
like
the trilogy
studio.
needed to be planned out, but like, didn't you guys learn anything
Right.
from the sequel trilogy?
So like that I think is definitely worrying, because then you're just gonna have people that are like doubling up on work and then realize like when they're done with it that like it doesn't fit together, and so then you're just gonna have to like cancel one or like fundamentally change one or
Reshoot or
whatever.
something,
Yeah,
yes.
like whatever the cases are for that. Like that's a dumb way to handle it. I don't think. I do agree that it's an odd sentiment to have where it's like she's maybe the most like, or is like the most valuable cinematic asset they have, and like in some ways maybe the only one. I think it's a weird statement, but I don't think I can disagree in the sense that like I can't put forward a like counter one, because like yeah, like Vader exists and Luke exists, but like they're seemingly doubling down on the fact that like they are not wanting to explore them more in movies, and like they're wanting to be outside the Skywalker saga. And like if you do a Vader movie, you're not doing that. Like if you do Luke adventures between like 7 or between 6 and 7, like that, you're no longer doing that. So like of the existing cinematic, so like big screen people that have been on the big screen, I
If you want,
I don't really think that there's enough, which like I guess then again, to be fair, like you could argue that she also still is like part of the Skywalker saga, so you're not even like really doubling
all
down on
right,
like not being in the Skywalker saga if you're still using her.
I
But
have
like
my counter.
who or
It
what?
came to mind, but they're not currently in a film. But I know if you put them in a film, like they are your most valuable cinematic asset because you get an instant trilogy out of them.
Hmm.
Revan.
Yeah, I knew you were gonna say that. Which I
Yeah,
mean,
I
yeah,
mean, it's
but
like a
like
no-brainer. And you're not in the Skywalker timeline. And you make
yeah, I feel,
everybody happy. You make the
no, I
people
mean,
who are mad at you happy, you make your fans happy. Like
I would agree with that. I think that the important caveat for the quote is that it's like implying like existing
existing. Yeah,
cinema,
no, absolutely.
because there's another quote that comes from the article which is incredibly worrying. It's really accurate, but the quote is saying that like Star Wars is a nostalgia based enterprise and they are running out of ways to create nostalgia, which like yeah,
You
no shit,
can't
because you can't create nostalgia. Like you
exactly.
make good thing. Like Star Wars wasn't made because it was like a nostalgia thing. Star Wars was just a thing, like a new idea that was mashed together from like old ideas, and then like people loved it, and then those people grew up and were like, oh, that thing's awesome, and like then have nostalgia for it. Like you just make
That's how
you
nostalgia works.
yeah,
Like
like
it's
you just
something
make good stuff, and then people like
yeah.
it, and then eventually they become nostalgic for it
Decades
because
later and they
time goes
remember
on.
it and
Like
that would
you
like
can't
reminds them of
just
their childhood, you know?
yeah,
It's
like
like
you can't just
you can't create it on a whim.
yeah, like you can't just manufacture nostalgia. So like, of course, they're running out of ways to do it. Another quote that was really interesting from the article that was about her, which is like, "quote You're being asked to create the New Testament, and no one can agree on anything, and there's a lot of second guessing about meanings." Like talking about the like how the original trilogy is like the Old Testament essentially
Mhm.
for like all these people working on projects and stuff, and it like just speaks to a much larger problem in how a lot of both the people involved in making the films at this point and also fans react to the just Star Wars. It's the whole like the sacred texts like thing from The
Mhm.
Last Jedi where it's like, oh, these are like held to such a high regard, and like it's just people being terrified to do anything new now, which is not great. Yeah, I don't know, it's weird. I'm all for seeing more Ray because like I love Ray. I think she's great. I'm excited for her to get a movie. I think that would be great. I don't really want her to be the focus or even like necessarily a side character in a new trilogy. um Kinberg's thing, to go back to that, I am hopeful that it will get made. I'm not sure whether or not it will be good. I have hope about it being. I think that it'll get made because he has a history of like getting projects over the finish line. Like he's a
Mhm.
franchise man. X-Men's not the. I can't remember the other franchises that he's
He
worked on,
does
but like
Deadpool.
yeah, well like that's X-Men.
Oh, okay, yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, it's all
Um,
fun. Same thing.
I don't remember the other franchises that he's worked on, but there's a couple. And so like he's a franchise dude. Like he is able to get those projects made and like over the finish line to varying degrees of quality. Um, I know people want to look at Dark Phoenix because that was his like directorial debut, and like that movie, I haven't even finished watching that movie. I watched like half of it and turned it off. But there's a lot of things that were going. Not to say it wasn't his fault because I'm sure he's like obviously partly responsible for it, but like there was a lot of factors that were happening when Dark Phoenix was like being made and being released. That was like right at the height of Disney buying Fox and like them having to get that movie out the door, and like there's a lot of stuff going on. So like I won't place like all of the blame for that movie not being great like on him. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it also is important to note that he's not yet confirmed to be directing the films, just writing
and
them.
producing, I think, right?
Yeah.
Is what was announced.
So there's that. I think it's good that they're having one person write an entire trilogy. That's a smart thing to do. That's a step in
the right direction.
Yeah, like if you're gonna do a new trilogy, you should have people plan it. That'd be cool. Which like I don't like the argument that like the trilogies necessarily need to be planned from the beginning, because like the original trilogy and the sequel trilogy both were not, and I like those and I think that they're good despite their misgivings. But like having a plan certainly is not going to hurt. A loose
skeleton, yeah, you know.
Yeah, like
some kind of guidance.
That'd be a good thing. Yeah, I don't know. I think like you said at the beginning that like I'll believe it when I'm sitting down and watching it. Like I'll have
that's how you got to take it at this point
on it, because like there are like 10 movies that are in development or something. Like there's technically Rian Johnson's movie, there's Taika Waititi's movie, there's these 3 movies, so that's like what 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Ryan's a trilogy. You only counted 1 for Ryan.
Yeah, no, I went so like Ryan's okay. You got like 3. This trilogy makes 6. Rogue Squadron from Patty Jenkins is apparently still happening. That makes 7.
Yeah, the original like founding the
James Mangold's like Jedi one, so that makes 8.
You have
did I already say Rogue Squadron? Yeah, the Rey Solo film. Taika Waititi's movie, that gets us to 10, right? If I'm doing my math correctly, like so
we're real high up there.
So like there's 10 already, and I'm pretty sure there's another one that I'm forgetting as well. Like there's
you got Mando coming out, you got Dave's Heir to the Empire coming out,
right? So like 12 movies that are in development. One that's been shot, so like 1 of 12 has been shot. Okay, and like most of these also were announced years ago. Like so. Yeah, I mean, like the track record, I don't remember. I wish I could find any of the tweets from it, but there's this guy on Twitter who like consistently updates the like average
the
like
percentage.
Which of the Star Wars movies,
isn't it?
Yeah, that like get announced actually there's the Lando movie which is like was originally going to be a show but is now a movie, so it's like what 13. Like there's a lot of Star Wars movies that are in development at various stages, and like who knows how many of them end up getting.
And I don't know why they keep announcing more. Like what are you trying to do?
Can we get any of them over the finish line first, please? Besides
get them over the finish line. And what's wrong with a surprise trailer coming out of nowhere? You don't have to announce this shit.
Well, they unfortunately do, just because of how like the industry works and leaks and things
like
there's no way.
Surprise.
There's no way in hell you could get a trailer done before people know that a Star Wars movie is being
You can get a
made.
teaser done. You can literally just like show a planet. You can show a planet or something. I'm talking like a 10, 15 second teaser. You know,
you cannot get a teaser done before people know a Star Wars movie is in development.
You can.
No, you can't. Dude. There's no way. There's absolutely no way.
if you're determined, it can happen. No one found out Luke was coming.
Yeah, but that's like in the middle. That's because they're able to hide it in the middle of a production. Like they're using a bunch of smoke and mirrors there. You can't hide the fact that there is a production.
Like, sure you can. If there's a will, there's a way. I'm determined, man. Just surprise me with something, please. Regardless, make it over the finish line with something. Actually, that's
make it over the finish line with something that's not a Dave Filoni helmed project. Like. Because those are obviously getting made, because that dude can do whatever he wants. And Lucasfilm.
my one final gripe: if you're going to keep announcing these projects, and why don't you have so many talented people, like writers and directors, like big names that are almost begging to do a Star Wars.
Dude, why does Bryce Dallas Howard not have a Star Wars movie yet? Why? I don't understand.
Why does Takashi Yamazaki, the guy who directed -1? That guy is like on his knees asking for a Star Wars film.
Would be unreal.
Screened -1 for Lucasfilm exclusively. Why?
So
like, just please, like, give someone with that passion who's like begging to do this. Like, because 1, they're talented, and 2, it's gonna show. Like,
that's
when they're that committed to it. I wish they would just get and even like. Christopher Nolan has not said he's wanted to, and he's not said he doesn't want to. But like he's a lifelong Star Wars fan. It's a huge inspiration for him. Like, this is Christopher freaking Nolan.
Dude, they would not give that man the creative to.
No, he would. I never would expect him to make one because
they
I don't
give
blame
him the free reign that he needs.
But like when you have these, like there are people who are lifelong fans. Why don't you like that are the top of their game and looked up to by everyone in their field and all of their colleagues? Why don't you give them the opportunity? You know. I don't know. I wish that was more of a thing.
I mean, that's why I do have, like, against all odds, still have faith that like Rian Johnson's trilogy will happen because like I believe in my soul that man does want to get that done. And so like I think like obviously, you know, it's been a while because he's been doing Knives Out, but like I do think he'll come around and do that. I also do think that James Mangold's film will happen because he's a Disney man. Like I feel like he did Indy for them. Partly, I mean, he loves Indy, but like I feel like that was a main, like he did that, and like now he'll get to do his Star Wars movie. That's like what he wants to do with Star Wars. Like, and he also is another franchise person who like can work with big studios on big franchises and like get them over the finish line and like get it made. And he's also a like he's one of the few writer directors that are working today that are like able to work in that studio space to like great success, like taking out the lukewarm reception that was there for Dial of Destiny. Like he's the dude who made,
it wasn't that bad, but it wasn't anything special.
He's like, yeah, exactly, lukewarm. Like, like, but he's the dude who made Logan, right? Like everyone loved that.
That was another one that Simon produced.
Yeah, see, that's why I think that he averages out to like the 6.7.
Yeah.
They're like a bunch of like 2 and 3
couple
stars,
heavy hitters,
and a bunch of
and
like,
then you got a couple
like
bombs.
8 to 10 stars. Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, I don't know. I have faith that those will get made. Obviously, anything with Dave will get made. Everything else, we'll see. I will say I am very thankful that Benoff and Wise, that their trilogy got canceled. Because those dudes are
did not deserve it. Thank God. They deserved everything that came to them, and that was the cancellation of their Star Wars trilogy. And I'm not even a game. I like House of the Dragon. I was not able to get into Game of Thrones, and I didn't even bother because I knew how it ended. So I was like, I'm not even going to waste. I know it's good television. I don't want to waste like so many hours to just be disappointed.
Yeah, I mean, this is not the podcast for it. I like season 7 more than most people. I don't absolutely hate the ending. That said, anyways,
I watched like one of the episodes in the last, like the all dark episode, and I was like, yeah, these guys, what are they doing?
I don't even think that we don't need to segue into that. It's fine. But, I don't know.
When you're gonna treat like your baby, like you can't be trusted with anything. Like what are you doing?
No, it's fine, but I don't know. We'll see when these movies if these movies eventually come out.
Yeah. Oh man, it's gonna start snowing in Florida when I see the next Star Wars screen or a Star Wars movie on the big screen. But
hey, you got Mando and Grogu to look forward to.
Yeah, it'll still, okay. That I do. But after the break, we're going to briefly discuss our thoughts on Skeleton Crew ahead of its December 3rd release. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Framing the Force. Before the break, we discussed the news that the X-Men producer Simon Kinberg is reportedly developing a new Star Wars trilogy. Now, ahead of its release, we wanted to share our final thoughts and theories about the newest live-action Star Wars show, Skeleton Crew. Alex, let's start with you.
Yeah, I mean, cool that we're getting a new Star Wars show. We've talked about it before. I'm like not the most excited for this show. I'll watch it, I suppose. I think that the second trailer, I don't know, I guess is this the final trailer? I
don't even think I've watched the second trailer. I'm usually like a one trailer, one teaser kind of guy, and then I'm like, all right, I want to be surprised with the rest.
Yeah, I mean, the second trailer was a lot better than the first one. That said, the most exciting part of the second trailer to me was just like seeing different locations and planets. I think that's the part of the show that like I'm most interested in, just because I like seeing new things in the Star Wars galaxy. Like that's always exciting. But I am just generally not the most hyped about this show. I don't generally like kids in media that much. They low-key kind of annoy me. So like pitching it as like Stranger Things or The Goonies in space is like not my cup of tea.
That's
Like
fair.
you kind of lost me already. I don't like, even if the kids are lovable or entertaining or whatever, they're probably still going to be like a little
Yeah,
annoying to me. So I'm like,
they're kids.
it's an uphill climb. I mean, like for what it's going for, like it does look like it'll be good. It just is not. I'm not the demographic for it.
Mhm.
So yeah, I mean, there's that. We got, which I know that you're excited about this, or like most excited about this. We got a quote earlier today that was like saying that the home planet for the kids was apparently like once the crown jewel of the old republic.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. I think that anytime they're referencing the old republic in any
Is a
new
step in the
thing,
right direction.
yeah, that's a plus. So like that's exciting. Jude Law being a Jedi, former Jedi, whatever.
I think they announced his name and I don't remember what it was, but it was also really close to his actual name, which I love when Star Wars does that little silly thing, but it's really funny we got it with a main character.
Yeah. So I mean, like that's interesting. It'll be cool to see how they explore that. This is post Return of the Jedi, right?
Yep.
Like this is, yeah. So I mean, like that's always an interesting space to explore as far as like what's going on with the state of the galaxy then, and that kind of thing. But like, yeah, I mean, I don't have that many thoughts on this show because
That's fair.
like it's honestly kind of weird that in like a couple weeks we have a new Star Wars show coming out. Weird to think about, but you know, exciting nonetheless.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. Well, I'm excited for new Star Wars. I'm always going to be excited for new Star Wars, and we've talked about in the past. Like I am also not the target demographic for it, but I will say over the last couple little tidbits we've gotten in news between the planet and the kids know about the Jedi and the Sith thing.
Mhm.
They've been told stories about it. Those have they've raised my interest a little bit more. Like I'm excited to see what they do with like, the actual lore and stuff and whatnot. Is the adventure that we're going on
Mhm.
currently being pitched and billed for me? No, but also, I mean, who the hell knows if they're gonna stick to that pitch? They might take a 180, and I'll be like, oh shit, like let me lock in for this. But either way, I will be seated. I'm really excited. Like I have no idea what they could be referencing with this crown jewel of the old republic for the
Yeah, I
old
don't.
planet, but
I don't know.
my greedy self wants to go to the classic Star Wars trope. Oh, this was a once a like a Sith planet, or this town was built on some kind of ancient Sith like ritual
Whatever.
ground or something.
Yeah.
Like something I love, like when it's always like, oh shit, what happened?
What
Why
is
do we do this? Like,
what
so
is the name of the
I'm with
planet
that
that
trope.
there was the Sith Academy that Bane like trained at?
Was it Korriban?
Yeah, I want to say it was Corbin. That'd be gnarly.
Yeah.
That's their own planet. I feel like that's not that case because
But
like
I
the
think
weather
that
on
the
Corbin.
planet I've seen in the trailers look way too nice to be.
Yeah, there's no way.
There's no way, unless they had a real good 180 in
I mean,
those
then again, if
years.
you look at like the way that
Thousands of years.
Mustafar looks in 9 compared to how it
Right.
looks in
I
3,
mean,
like
and
stuff
Tatooine used
happens.
to have water, so who the hell knows?
Yeah.
But so I am excited to see like what's going on with this planet, because and they've also said like it was like kind of off the radar, nobody knows about it even during the time of the Empire, like, or something like that. Like it was a very like they're trying to get home and no one else knows where home is. Like they've
Yeah.
never really heard of where these kids live. So I'm really curious to see what's going on with their specific planet. And I
Mhm.
also like I had mentioned that also piqued my interest was they announced, I think it was like today or a couple days ago, that the kids are aware of what, even in post Return of the Jedi time, they are aware of the Jedi and the Sith and the battles they had. But it's not like they know what, like, Star Wars is, but they don't know it. Like
Yeah.
they said they try to keep it genuine and not they try and treat it like you're in universe and make it
Mhm.
believable, and it's a fine line to walk. And from what they've said, I have good hopes for this line they're walking, because just it's a small little detail, but it was one that definitely stuck out to me, and it's the one I think it's the main one they had mentioned when they said all this. The kids have a little pretend lightsaber fight or whatever,
That's
and they're
awesome.
imitating the noises, but they're doing the noises incorrectly because they've never
That's
heard or
hilarious.
seen a lightsaber before.
Yeah.
So like little details like that, I think is great. I think it's awesome. I really do want to see that kind of perspective on Star Wars because I love the broom kid at the end of The
The
Last
Last
Jedi.
Jedi.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so like stuff like they know what's going on. I mean, as in Return of the Jedi, 3PO tells the whole story of the original trilogy to the Ewoks. Like, so
hmm
I am interested to see how these stories are passed down and how they are considered legends and
Yeah, I always loved the idea of
history.
like
Yeah.
exploring the in-universe like fables and like how
Mhm.
stories become,
And I did
how they
finally
change and
I
like
finally
evolve.
bought the Empire, like the Rise and Fall of the Empire. So that's like I think
Oh,
that's like our first
dude,
like little like
I
context.
haven't purchased it yet just because I have an inkling that I might be getting it as a Christmas present.
There you
But
go. There you go.
I cannot wait to read that book. If
But
I don't
yeah,
get it
like
for Christmas, that's the first purchase I'm making post Christmas. Like,
there's usually like Barnes and Noble sales going on at that time too, like right afterwards
yeah,
for hardcovers. So, but yeah,
dude,
no,
I can't wait to read that.
anything in universe like just their perspective because that's one of Star Wars's cores is from a certain point of view.
hmm
So the more point of views, the cooler the whole overall story is. It's just another little layer, little detail, little just fun way to perceive something we all know and have grown up with and love at this point. And that like I don't think like they're trying to create nostalgia, but I think that's a good way. Like that is a good way to present it. Is like show how these little kids know that story. So I think that's a
Yeah,
good approach to that, and I think that will hopefully it's only going to be like one scene, but it might come up in how they know the Jedi because Jude Law is a Jedi. So who knows how much it comes up, but that definitely did pique my interest. I'd be lying if I said it didn't because that's just cool to me. I'm excited to see stuff like that. So that's where I'm at with Skeleton Crew.
yeah. I mean, I definitely agree with that. I think that the more perspectives will be cool. Seeing how they like think about the larger stories in the galaxy is exciting. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, just again, the locations is the thing that I'm for sure the most excited about. I think having a Star Wars thing that really like emphasizes taking place in space and like across the galaxy is going to be cool to see. But yeah, that's a great summary of it. And I mean, I'll watch it, of course. So
Yeah, we'll be
hopefully
seated. We'll be seated.
hopefully it blows me away.
We'll be very happy.
Yeah.
Way happier than
Um,
what we're going into it with, but I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm excited. I'm not expecting to have my expectations blown away, but I do hope that happens.
yeah. No. Same. Um, so yeah. Any final thoughts on it before we wrap?
No, I'm good.
Nice. Well.
We'll see
Uh,
it.
yeah, excited to see it. So thank you everyone for tuning in to episode 17 of Framing the Force. Robby, where can people find you online?
You guys can find me online at Robby_Weidemann. That's Robby with a Y _ WEIDEMANN and at SW Shot by Shot. And now you can also find me on Blue Sky. I have two made it over there. That Shot by Shot handle is there. It'll be the same. My personal handle is R0BBY. I got a code a long time ago and I was able to secure my first name. It's got a
Nice.
0, but I got my first name. So that's
Hell
you
yeah.
can find me on Blue Sky now, and I'm becoming more active, and it's kind of fun over there. So check me out over there.
Very nice. You can find me online at the Alex Bats on both Twitter and Instagram. You can also find Star Wars Curated at Curated Star Wars on Twitter. And you can also find me on Blue Sky. My
Ooh.
personal at there is just Alex Bats. So it's just my name. I also got a code forever ago and like made that account. And then you can find Star Wars Curated at Star Wars Curated on Blue Sky. Because I was able to secure that at
There you go. Yeah,
Blue Sky.
I when the migration started happening, I was like, guys, snipe Shot by Shot, even if I don't post. But I think I figured out how to. So I think we're
yeah, I've
we're
started
good.
posting a lot more on Blue Sky as well, mainly on my personal and doing some for Curated on there also. They don't have like full GIF support yet though, which is a big
They don't
problem.
have a built-in schedule either. We're sitting real pretty over here.
Hopefully they get it soon. They keep on getting more people joining, so like I know they're working on stuff. But yeah, please also be sure to subscribe here to The Aspect on YouTube and any platform where podcasts can be found. Follow us on Twitter /X, Instagram, and TikTok at The Aspect Co. A huge thank you to Peter Fraser for providing our series music. And again, thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next time in a galaxy far, far away. Hey, thank you for tuning in.
If you enjoyed this show, then be sure to subscribe here to The Aspect so you never miss an episode.
And check out some of our other shows and videos here on the Aspect Network.
Thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you in a galaxy far, far away.